Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today, bringing you guys and gals Bleach! Yeah, Tate Kubo's finest work. Yeah. Now, if you have not seen the live reactions, plural, there will be annotations, plural, right here, as well as links, plural, in the box below. Now, that being said, here's the thing, all right? We got a copyright strike. We meaning me and the King of Lightning viewers. Copyright strike. And I am limited to 15 minutes, which sucks. Now, I have gone through the normal procedure, and hopefully the strike is gone after a few weeks' time. But until then, or 6 months from now, I am limited to 15 minutes. And so in order to save time, I'm going to not do any of the translation comparisons between Manga Stream and the VIZ official translation, except for one comparison. Just one. Because this one I found hilarious. It was funny. Like, the difference is vast between Manga Stream and VIZ. So this is the page, the panel, where Kenpachi cuts off Gerard Valkyrie's arm. And on Manga Stream, he says this, and I quote, "The fuck's going on here? Captains holding hands singing Kumbaya?" Next page. I just threw up a little in my mouth. But in the official VIZ translation, he says this, and I quote, "Oh, what is this? The captain classes are all wiped out? How pathetic." That is a massive difference between Manga Stream and the VIZ official translation. How the hell did Kumbaya slip in there? How the fuck's going on here? Like, and you gotta say it that way. The fuck's going on here? Captains holding hands, singing Kumbaya. Nowhere even remotely close in the official translation. It's simple as fuck. Oh, what is this? The captain classes are all wiped out? How pathetic. And then clearly I prefer Manga Stream with that. Clearly, the fuck's going on here? Because it gives him more character. Now, again, the VIZ translation is the official translation, therefore it is presumed by far to be the better translation, but to each his own. We can still have our own preferences. It is what it is. But still, first and foremost, it's always VIZ. It's always VIZ. Now, the fuck's going on? Oh my goodness. Where's Kumbaya? I don't get it. Kumbaya. Either way. So let's get on to the meat here. When it comes to the pacing of both chapters, relatively fine, though in chapter 666, there is more depth in the pacing. Just a little bit. Just a wee little bit. Only because we shift gears. Because not only do we have Neliel come into the fold, which has been a long time coming, but also we shift to Gerard Valkyrie. And now you have three captains. You have Hitsugaya, who is one-on-one, then in comes Byakuya, then in comes Kenpachi. So you have the three captains coming in there. That's pretty cool. I want to see... This is going to be a good fight, hopefully. This is going to be... At least it should be good, even though Hitsugaya's there. Moving on from that, you have the story progression, wherein which chapter 666 clearly has more. 65 is just like the fight supposedly ends, but it doesn't end in the next chapter between Nakk, Vaar, and Urahara. Now Grimmjow comes into the fold, which is awesome, but the fight is still technically going on between Urahara and Nakk, Vaar. But now Grimmjow is the support of Urahara, if you would. And that's like the main thing there when it comes to the story progression. But when it comes to the next chapter, not only is Nakk on the verge of death, and the Gift Ball Deluxe has now magnified, Urahara apparently told Neliel about this, and now she's going in there. And on top of that, you have someone actually earnestly damage Gerard Valkyrie in his god-sized form, and that is my man, Zaraki Kenpachi, who was done because of Perninda, but apparently Mari's tech is that good where he got healed relatively quickly, and now he's back in the fold. So, all in all, we do have a lot more story progression in chapter 666 as opposed to 665. When it comes to characterization, 665, Urahara, I mean, we're talking about Bankai stuff here, right? We find out what the powers of his Bankai are, and that is very important for this character. Now, his Bankai, the Open Princess Neo, the Benihime Atarame, something of like the lands of, it begins with an A. I still can't say it. I'm not gonna try. Fuck you. Don't even care. Blah. His Bankai can restructure things, and it can restructure whatever it touches. But the confusing thing here is what it touches, because it's not actually like touching it physically with its puppet hands, but more so it's like an air of effect via stitch lines. It's kind of weird. Like, I'm still not too sure that whole concept of touching, but there's clearly an AoE going on here that involves either the stitch lines or it's a general AoE. I'm gonna lean more towards the stitch lines because they were prominent in a lot of places, and in fact, the stitch lines went all the way to the outside of the gift ball to let Grimmjow in. And in the process, he was healing Grimmjow as Grimmjow entered the Gift Ball Deluxe. So I'm gonna go with the stitch lines. But the main thing here, once again, is the simple restructuring of whatever the Benihime touches. So, for example, it is support in the sense of healing Grimmjow as he enters the Gift Ball Deluxe via the stitching, and also in the sense of offense when it comes to, like, for example, augmenting Urahara Kisuke's attack power via restructuring his own arm in the midst of, like, swinging it, and it deals a lot more damage because it's been restructured to have a lot more strength. So the Bankai is very fascinating. I am happy to say that it is not as like crazy what the fuck is going on here Kyoraku. I think it does match Kisuke in many ways, but it doesn't even coincide at all with the Shikai. I gotta point that out. I gotta point that out. His Shikai and his Bankai are vastly different. His Bankai, he didn't attain through normal means. I don't know if you recall that, but Kisuke, he attained his Bankai doing the whole 3-day like doll method thing, the same thing that Ichigo did to attain his Bankai. So he did the same thing pretty much. So maybe, maybe the stark difference is because he did it a very unconventional way between his Shikai and his Bankai. It's possible. Now, getting on to chapter 666, even more characterization for Urahara, and on top of that, some, I think, for Grimmjow. Byakuya, no. Hitsugaya, no. Kenpachi, no. Gerard, no. Neliel, no. But, okay, first of all, another translation comparison between Manga Stream and VIZ. When Urahara falls face down to the ground, and he says, "I leave up to you, Kurosaki Kuchiki," in VIZ, they highlight it. It's Mr. Kurosaki and Mrs. Kuchiki. And I was like, fuck, he means Rukia. He's talking about Rukia. So you were right. The folks that said in the comment section, he's talking about Rukia. He's talking about Rukia. I'm like, fuck you guys. But no, I was wrong. Fuck me. It is what it is. But still, fuck you. All right? Just, it's fucking Rukia, man. Like, listen. To me, Rukia, after she got deaded by Ruruka, I was like, oh. Like, what? Ruruka Fullbringer? Like, fuck Rukia. Fuck Rukia. Fuck her. She sucks. She fucking sucks. Get the lisp on. She sucks. She fucking sucks. She sucks. Okay, so that being said, so character-wise, Grimmjow talks about this contract that he had with Urahara. Now this intrigues me because Grimmjow, he's here. Which, think about that for 2 seconds. He's here. Understand that Ichigo, as far as I know, fucking killed the dude. But apparently not. And it looks like at some point during like the post-Urahara saga, maybe at some time during the Fullbring arc, who the hell knows, Urahara, he healed Grimmjow, and in the process he made a contract or deal with Grimmjow. Like maybe some type of like seal is placed on Grimmjow to where Grimmjow has to abide by Urahara's commands up until a certain point where if he fulfills the contract, then he's free. Something like that. So this fascinates me, all right? I want to know more about this contract between these two. Now, also for characterization, you have Nakk Vaar, who explains that even though he was kill-shotted twice, says that when it comes to his gift ball deluxe, he was actually holding it back via a lock. But when he passes away, the lock is undone, and the gift ball deluxe magnifies even further. It becomes even more potent. And it's even so potent to where he himself could be damaged by his own gift ball deluxe. Okay. And finally, Kisuke. One small thing that I did notice upon reread. When Kisuke falls to the ground, after saying Mr. Kurosaki, Mrs. Kuchiki, he falls to the ground, and there is a pool of blood where his face is. My assumption is that the eyes that he had restructured become undone. So my guess here is that the restructuring is temporary. As long as his Bankai is active, the restructure is there. So what we see is also, when he is talking about how he can no longer go on, the restructure stitches where his arms were, they start to bleed out. If you go back and see, they start to bleed out. And I'm thinking that is a sign of his restructuring being undone. So the reason why the hole was getting very small, the hole that Grimmjow entered in, was because the restructuring was being undone. So Nelly Yell had to haul some ass and get through that hole. That's my take. We'll see how that works out. But I think that is a component of his Bankai. And if so, that is definitely a component of his characterization. So all in all, chapter 665 is superior in characterization. However, it is inferior in story progression and pacing. So that chapter is going to be an okay plus to good, and chapter 666 is going to be a good to good plus, and I'm done. So King of Lightning, rate the video, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice goddamned day.